All right, y'all. As I figured, something, it's they're just arresting anybody at this point. If y'all have been keeping up with everything since yesterday, we just gonna jump straight into it, all right? They're arresting anyone, and this goes back to what I was talking about yesterday. Um, something is just not right. This is another situation. It almost reminds me of that shooting with the United Healthcare CEO, that once they eventually come out and tell us who the shooter was, we're not even going to believe it. I mean, the description that they gave for who the shooter was compared to who they arrested yesterday and had some kind of old looking rifle, they've already released that guy. So as of right now, I'm recording this at 7 o'clock in the morning. I think this article was updated around 4:50 to 5 o'clock in the morning. They don't have a shooter. A suspect has not been identified. Officials said two people who were taken into custody earlier were not tied until the shooting. Check this out. I want to play a little bit of this video from Poetic Flacco. I'm pretty sure some of y'all probably watch his channel, but he made some very good points in this, and it just goes right to what we all are thinking. Just be ready for the truth to not come out. And then we're going to get into a couple of other things as well. Check this out real quick. I'm going to kind of skip through it to the parts where, he's really talking about it not making sense.
Very weird going on with this Charlie Kirk situation. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this before, ever. Charlie Kirk was murdered in broad daylight, in cold blood, in front of thousands of people. Now, when the incident first happened, within minutes, they told us, we got our guy. We got the suspect in custody. But after being told that this was the shooter, that this was the guy who killed Charlie Kirk, even the optics showed that he was a criminal. They was dragging him away, both feet in the air, told him, not giving him an opportunity to pull up his pants while people are screaming at him. We for sure thought, okay, yeah, this is the guy. Then, we found out an hour or so later, no, this is not the guy. He was released from custody. Then we said, okay, that's weird. Arresting the wrong guy and treating him in that manner seems like something really big to just mess up. So, but we thought, okay, maybe, listen, man, all right, the description is an older white male with similar clothing on, and they just arrested the wrong older white male with similar clothing on. Come to find out, that theory would be wrong because they took another person in custody. This time, the description is the opposite of the initial suspect that was arrested.
Well, I mean, one thing we also learned was that the gun wasn't recovered at the scene. So it sounds like he managed to do his pre-operational planning, find that spot, line it up where he thought, his victim would be, take out Kirk with a single bullet, pack up the weapon, maybe break it down, put it into a smaller bag. If you get off that roof, you have access right to a parking lot where he could have easily gotten into a car and left. In the video canvas, what we don't know. Did they get a good image of him, or was it just the clothing? Were they able to get a license plate reader of a car leaving that took them to a name? But we know there's an individual about 25 years old who's in custody as that person of interest. But this is where it starts, not where it finishes. That means getting, as Evan pointed out, a search warrant for the house, a search warrant for the car. Do you then recover the gun?
So this is what they're saying. So far, you're at two different people. At first, it was an old man. I mean, they just said, all right, cool, let's just try to arrest somebody who we think did this. Then there's some random video going around of what looks like a body on top of the exact roof where the shot supposedly came from. Then next thing you know, they arrest a supposed 25-year-old who looks nothing like the original suspect. And now we are left wondering who actually made this professional shot.
You match the ballistics. They have a lot of work to do tonight. And
Right.
they have to figure out, was he acting alone? Who else is there? Who's he in communications with?
Right.
They have a lot of work to do tomorrow, too.
Right.
That left me even more confused. So the suspect is actually 25 years old, and he actually doesn't fit the description of the 60-plus-year-old man y'all arrested initially at all, then why was a 60-plus-year-old man arrested in the first place? That was my first sign. Okay, yeah, there's something confusing going on. I don't feel like the personnel know what they're doing at this point in time as they investigate Charlie Kirk's murder at all. But at this particular point in time, they believe the 25-year-old that was in custody was the shooter. The FBI director, Kash Patel, he even came to Twitter with a fist in the air, letting people know we got our guy. We arrested Charlie Kirk's shooter. He's in custody at the moment. Kash Patel writes, the subject for the horrific shooting today that took the life of Charlie Kirk is now in custody. Thank you to the local and state authorities in Utah for your partnership with FBI. We will provide updates when able.
Now, that's insane. For you to actually put out such a confident tweet that you have arrested the suspect makes no sense at all. It makes no sense at all to actually put this out when, you're going to have to come back and tell everybody, oh no, we didn't actually arrest the shooter. We had it wrong. Once again, sorry for jumping the gun.
But when you're thanking them for their work, it kind of had the tone of, yeah, like the investigation, it's a wrap. All right, we got our subject in custody. We're going to move forward investigating him, trying to get the house subpoena, the house search, and things of that order. He was speaking as if it was a done deal, as if it was a wrap. But usually when it's a done deal and it's a wrap, we would have the name of who the shooter is. We'll have the picture, the image of who the shooter is. We'll have an idea of what the shooter's identity is, but that never came out. And minutes went by and videos began to surface of what people will say is the alleged shooter that was arrested and put in custody at the moment. But that shooter, or the person who was being put in custody, if that's the 25-year-old, is not 25 at all. It looks like that's another person with another demographic that was being arrested and put in custody.
I think they just found the guy right outside of Carry On. Rifle on this dude's dash, and they just handcuffed him.
I mean, who is this? This is another old man. Clearly, he got gray hair. His face is an old man right here. Now, unless someone jumped the gun and started filming a random person being arrested, but I doubt it because he had a rifle on him. And they made sure to hold up the rifle as if, yo, yes, this is our guy. So how does a 25-year-old become this old man with gray hair and a hat on? Nothing makes sense right now. Nothing makes sense. And probably the most viral clip that's going around right now is the original clip of Charlie Kirk talking about, his beliefs in gun deaths and the fact that they help us continue to bear arms. So it wouldn't be right to not play this, just to give y'all an idea of why people are actually, really showing the evil side of someone being murdered in broad daylight and saying that he actually deserved it. Check this out.
And that is part of liberty.
Wow.
Driving comes with a price. 50,000 people die on the road every year.
Wow.
That's a price. You get rid of driving, you'd have 50,000 less auto fatalities. But we have decided that the benefit of driving, speed, accessibility, mobility, having products, services, is worth the cost of 50,000 people dying on the road.
Wow.
So we need to be very clear that you're not going to get gun deaths to zero. It will not happen.
Right.
You can significantly reduce them through having more fathers in the home,
Yes.
by having more armed guards in front of schools. We should have an honest and clear reductionist view of gun violence, but we should not have a utopian one. You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. Wow. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational. Nobody talks like this. They live in a complete alternate universe.
That is mostly the clip where people are I guess using this to justify his death, which someone said right here, people twisting this to justify his death is crazy. I mean, at the end of the day, a man was murdered in broad daylight in front of his family. A lot of people make good points like, you're not doing nothing, crime wise. You're not out here messing with the little ones. You're not doing all this crazy stuff. There's really not much to justify it, especially when we know where this is coming from, which this has a complete bigger agenda behind it. And I can only say that right now it is just getting started. And the way they are rolling out who they think they have and who they think is the shooter just lets you know where this comes from. A lot of y'all made a lot of good comments about this yesterday, as far as what y'all think this actually is. And shoot, I completely agree. I completely agree. Even with the lineup of the numbers with the 47, 47, 47 on it, a lot of y'all peeped that. I didn't even pay attention to that when I was doing the video. A lot of y'all talked about this being for Trump. You know, um, a lot of different theories that I agree on. One thing I know we can all agree on for sure is the fact that they not taking that video down because it's just the same reason that he got hit in the neck. This is a threat. This is to show everybody, if you speak any kind of truth, if you chase this, Epstein thing, you chase this list, um, you say certain things and you don't cower down, you don't tuck your tail, we taking you out. That voice box, we hitting you in your neck. A lot of people made good points. They could have been took that video down from the internet, flagged it every single place that is uploaded, but they're not really touching that video. That's why I say it's energy harvesting, a damn near live sacrifice. They are showing you what will happen to you. Pure evil. I have to say this was pure evil, broad daylight, in front of thousands of people. And if I'm not mistaken, his family was there, y'all. Let's check a little bit more out on this video. I just like the way he kind of put this together. So let's check out a little bit more, y'all.
Shit.
I don't know about y'all. That don't look like no 25-year-old. That looks like a man who's in his mid 40s, to say the least. Mid 40s, maybe 50s. So it looks like that's another suspect. All right. So we're asking, okay, where's the 25-year-old? What's his identity? Before we could really speculate, because people were beginning to speculate that the 25-year-old was this random Twitter account that belonged to this like transgender who made a threat to Charlie Kirk the day before he got to campus, claiming that something bad was going to happen the day of campus. So everybody was already running with the assumption the 25-year-old was this transgender dude on Twitter.
Oh, if it's a shooter, baby, the trans community. So this person here goes to the university. Of course, they, them, and look at what he said yesterday. He says here, Charlie Kirk is coming to my college tomorrow. I really hope someone evaporates him, literally. And then he writes, let's just say something big will happen tomorrow.
Now, this is absolutely crazy. Y'all have to remember, I told y'all in the video yesterday, there are two questions asked. One of the questions was, how many transgender mass shooters have there been in the last 10 years in the United States? Charlie Kirk answered, too many. Then he put the mic down. Then the next question was a general question. How many mass shootings have there been in the last 10 years or so in America? And, remember he said, depends on, are we counting gang violence or not? And then boom. So you have to take into thought the actual agenda here. This is coming from a supposed trans student that is at the college saying that I hope someone evaporates him, literally. Then just says, let's just say something big will happen tomorrow. So this is going to be the dividing point right here, because This is no way. This is a professional shot. Whoever shot him in the throat one single time, 200 yards away. I mean, for a very good shooter, it's not crazy. Like real deal snipers hit at 500 yards plus. It's not that crazy, but it's still, this is a professional hit. This is not just some random trans or random person that they may eventually come out and say that this was who did the shooting. No, it's not going to be that. If they actually try to say that it was a trans shooter, telling you right now, it's false. Completely false. Unless he is some highly trained shooter that just happens to be that way. No, it's going to be pushing an agenda.
So a student is saying this yesterday, and I also find it very, very odd that the person asking the question was asking Charlie about trans shooters before he got shot. So FBI, Cash Patel, whoever the fuck this dude is, yeah, I think you should look into this.
That was not the shooter that was in custody. And as of now, there's no word on whether or not that person has been questioned or arrested. But the shooter that was actually in custody, or the alleged shooter that was in custody, the 25-year-old, his name is Zachariah Qureshi. And up until about an hour ago, every, everybody was reporting that this was the guy who killed Charlie Kirk. Come to find out, that's not true. But then Cash Patel came back to Twitter and let us know, yeah, sorry, we thought we had him. We don't got the shooter, people. The 25-year-old that we had in custody, we released him because he had nothing to do with it. See, Cash Patel took to Twitter and he says, the subject in custody has been released after an interrogation by law enforcement. Our investigation continues, and we will continue to release information in interest of transparency. There's something scary and spooky going on here, bruh. The shooter was able to shoot Charlie Kirk precisely, and he was able to aim and hit his mark 200 yards away on his belly, on a roof, hit his target, and he was able to pack up, break his gun down like this, pack it up, and get out of there before being identified, seen, or caught by anybody? Nah, that was a professional who did that, bruh.
I agree. It just don't make no sense. You was able to get down on your stomach. You had to be there for a while because you waited right for the perfect timing, y'all. The timing is the question here. Not even a question. The timing is everything. Right after the trans question, right after a gun violence question, boom. So he was set up. He ain't just get there 30 seconds before and just knew that this question was going to be asked. No, 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 no. He already knew the plan. He was there. This is America. This is the government. There is a bigger agenda behind it, and we are slowly unraveling the details. But these folks already know what's going on. Don't be fooled. Like I said, be careful what you decide to digest about all of this stuff. Don't get up into the news and up in CNN and all that good stuff. Be careful, you know, because you will definitely fall further from where the real story lies at about what happened. So we'll go ahead and wrap this one up, y'all. If anything else comes out that I feel like we should cover, I'll definitely get on here and talk about it. That being said, y'all, let me know what y'all think about this one. Black Balloon. And I'm going to see y'all soon, all right? I'm out.